Hey mamas, welcome to your third trimester prenatal ab workout. Yes, we are still working abs in our third trimester. It's important and it can be done safely and effectively, and that's what we're gonna do today. We've got 10 minutes, 50 seconds on, and 10 seconds rest between exercises. Let's start on our hands and knees. We've got a cat-cow to begin. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. We're gonna arch the back, look up, let that belly hang down, relax. Tuck the chin, pull the belly button in toward your spine. Really tuck, tuck, tuck those hips under, and then repeat. Look up. So right here, we're releasing that core, and then right here, pulling that belly button in, breathing out, bracing that core. And this is gonna help engage our transverse abdominis. And if you've done any of my other workouts, you know I talk about the TVA a lot. That's what's gonna help us engage our cores and keep our abs strong from the inside out. And during pregnancy, that's what gets really stretched out and weak, along with those outer core muscles. Our diastasis recti comes from that. So let's rest. So we're gonna focus on that today. We're gonna do a bird dog with a side extension. So we're gonna raise the front arm and the back leg and then open it up to this side. So we're gonna go forward, open, forward, open. So we're gonna keep the leg and arm up the whole time. Your arm is about hip level, or your leg is about hip level. Your arm is about shoulder level, the thumb is up. And then the opposite hand, you're pressing into the floor. Now if this is too intense, you can always come back down, reset, and then come back up and go into it again. So we're trying to keep that toe pointed toward the ground, belly button pulled in towards spine, so our core is tight, and everything is squared to the floor. So we want to avoid shifting our weight a lot in this one. And again, that's going to control the movement from the core. Also getting us a little glute work. So I want you to squeeze that booty. Your arm and leg don't have to be perfectly straight either. It doesn't matter. I just want them about hip and shoulder height respectively. Rest, reset. If you need to, you can push back onto your hips for a second. We're going to go to the other side. So back arm, front leg, up and open. And you can see I'm not going very far out with that arm and leg. It's about a foot. Just taking it to the corner. We don't want to go too wide because that can throw you off balance. Now you're pushing through that opposite hand, really lifting through your core. These might be pregnancy safe and effective, but they're still challenging. So feel free, again, if you need to come down for a second and then come up, or you can come down every time between those reps if you feel like you need to. Almost there. And let's recover. We're going to a modified bear crawl. So if you need to push back on your hands, we're gonna come back to hands and knees, and we're gonna crawl a couple steps forward, a couple steps back, leading with the opposite hand and knee. So we're gonna crawl forward, 2, and back, 2. So we're leaving those knees on the ground, and we're just crawling. Seems rudimentary, it is. But those basic crawling patterns really strengthen our core, and every time we bring the hand and the leg away, our core is having to activate. So it's a really simple movement, but it's not difficult. If you want to make it more difficult, you can come and take your knees off the floor for a couple. But I would suggest only doing a couple like that because we don't want to strain the core too much, especially in our third trimester. There's a lot of inner abdominal pressure. And what that does is can cause that diastasis recti, that separation of the rectus abdominis, and we want to try to avoid that. We want to keep that core strong and pulled in. So if you see any of that coning, your stomach starting to point down during any of these exercises, go ahead and stop, take a break, and we'll jump back in when you can control it. Moving to a tabletop bridge. So on your hips, hands under shoulders, fingertips fan out, feet just away from your hips, and then you're gonna bridge up, squeeze that booty, drop your hips back under your shoulders, come back up, squeeze, drop those hips back down. So you're pushing through your hands to lift, pushing through your heels to squeeze and activate those glutes. Your toes don't even have to be on the ground here if you don't want them to be. Then you're trying to drive those hips up high. You might not get totally to like a tabletop. That's fine. Do your best. Again, pregnancy workouts, I say in a lot of my videos, you do the best you can with what you can. And things are always challenging. Doesn't matter the trimester, but especially in the third trimester, your physical limitations are more noticeable, as I'm sure you know. We're gonna rest here, and this time we're gonna do a tabletop bridge. We're gonna extend one leg at a time and tap the heel. Deep breath. Let's go, lift those hips, tap the heel, back down, opposite leg. So trying to bring those hips back under the shoulders or close to them, and then drive the hips nice and high as you extend that leg. We're just tapping the heel nice and lightly. We don't want a lot of pressure in that tapping leg. We want most of that pressure in the lifting leg. So you push out of that heel right here, squeeze that boot, try to keep it high as you lift, and extend that leg as far out as you can. We're almost there. Really important to work the glutes too. Again, that's a huge component of having a strong core and maintaining a strong core throughout pregnancy, and will help you get it back quicker postpartum too. All right, we're going to a clam hip lift. So go ahead, roll to the front onto one side. Hips, heels are in line, top hand on your waist. I want you to pick up that waistline, and then you're gonna open and close the knees. So this is level one. Level two, you give me a lift, open, and then you drop down. So you pick which level you want to do. You can keep those hips on the floor and open and close, or you can lift and then open. That's going to add a little more work for those obliques and your glutes. But even if you're here, you're not here. Do you see what I'm doing? Lifting from my waistline, pushing through my forearm. My core is engaged. That belly button is always pulled in. That's how we engage that TVA. And then we're squeezing as we open, keeping those heels glued together so we can work those hips. Almost there. And we're gonna move to the other side. So just flip around. Again, elbow in line with hips, in line with heels. Lifting that waistline. You can go ahead and come up if you wanna go to that second level, or you can just keep the hips down on the floor the whole time. But again, that waistline is what's lifted here. That's what's really engaging that core, that side body, the glutes. Again, it's all connected. So we're getting it all today. And we didn't have to do a single crunch, which during pregnancy, we really want to try to avoid those crunches once we get to a couple weeks in, because that can exacerbate that diastasis recti, or the ab separation that is most inevitable. But this type of work we're doing today will help strengthen, prepare our core to heal properly. All right, we're moving to a side forearm plank. So flip around to the other side so we give that side a break. Again, hip in line with elbow. We're gonna bend that bottom leg, extend the top leg. We're gonna lift and hold. So we're just holding it here, reaching through that top arm, pushing through the forearm. Just like in those clam lifts, I want you to lift through your waistline. So if you start collapsing, you push, driving through that bottom hip. Engage that glute, squeeze, and then reach through that top arm. That's gonna help lift you. So back to diastasis recti. It's somewhat inevitable, but you can help lessen the severity of it by working smart, especially during pregnancy and then postpartum. So be sure to keep following. I know we're all in our third trimester if you're doing this workout, so I've got a whole postpartum ab program for us to help us recover after we've had our babies, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Other side. But this work is so important to do at least 2 to 3 times a week. You could even do it every single day. Other side, let's lift. And it's gonna really help prepare your body for birth, strengthening those muscles you need to use, and then afterwards, things are just going to feel stronger more quickly. And there's always a period of, time we need to recover, of course. There's a lot of things that are gonna change, that are gonna be weaker for some time, but I'm all about doing what you can to prevent and then aid us in our recovery later on. feel like I've talked through most of this workout and we're almost done. Hopefully it distracted you. Last 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. That's it. 10 minutes. Third trimester core. I hope you guys have enjoyed these prenatal workouts. Be sure to check out my other workouts for the first, second, and third trimester, and then stick around for my postpartum series to help us recover and get our strength back post-baby. So I'll see you guys next time.